that makes up this property. There is 1.6 acres that is block 1 and 1.6 acres that is block 2. Lot 2, excuse me. So the remainder of the 4 acres total is in the statutory right-of-way and the additional 17 feet that the county requires. I bring this to your attention because it's a little bit different than what we typically deal with. I can't think of a case that is similar to this, and what makes this unique is the total amount of property that we're dealing with includes the right-of-way. Typically, when we deal with plats, the lots themselves are just the property. So typically what you'll see is 2 acre just consists of the lot itself. So I wanted to bring that to your attention just as a policy, what direction you guys want to go. Stacy and I thought we'd leave it up to you. And what makes this a little bit unique as well is when it comes to property taxes, we've spoken with the property owner as well as some other property owners in regards to the taxes they pay. They pay for the total 4 acres. So that's kind of the conundrum here, because if you're looking at just the land itself, we require a total of 2 acres when it comes to the zoning of R2, which is what this would fall under. So I wanted to bring that to your attention to see what direction the board would like to go with this particular item. It's kind of unusual in nature. Stacy and I couldn't think of one that was similar to this. So just maybe more discussion, see how you would want to move forward.
So what you're saying is there's a total of 4 acres.
Correct, but that includes the road right-of-way and the road itself.
Correct. But the actual lot size is 3.2 acres when we add it up.
Right, that is correct, total. So each one is 1.6.
But you pay taxes to the center line.
They're paying taxes on all of it.
That is correct.
Do they know that?
They do know that. So like I said,
But we have nothing we do here today is going to change the fact that they're paying their taxes.
Right. That's not the issue.
So does it need to be rezoned?
Well, that's kind of the point of discussion here, but the issue with rezoning it is, in this particular case, you can't rezone a particular piece of property when it comes to residential unless you have a total of 10 acres. So you can't go through the rezoning process in this case.
It's a section line road.
Right, it's a section line road. Right, right. So obviously that's the 33 feet. They are donating an additional 17 feet when you go through the planning process.
So essentially, if we approve this, we're not setting a precedent. This is a one-time situation that a precedent would be for if this exact situation came up again. We're not suddenly saying we can now just go ahead and zone at 1.6. Is that correct?
Right, but you're setting up potential other applicants who see this item and they're like, well, the county approved this. So you are setting precedent in some regard, because anybody else who has a similar situation, they're going to want the same outcome of what happens today.
For instance, if you just go back one item, chop those all in thirds, and count the easement, you're good to go.
I think this is a question for the county commissioner.
I just told you. You're setting precedent.
Yes, we are.
So I don't know if the county engineer has any additional thoughts. And we let the applicant know up front to some degree of, our concern, and we let them know that this would play out at the meeting itself. So I don't know if there's any comments from those folks over there.
We could sure use some guidance.
One concern I had is on the county right away is property used or utilized, and I worry about marketable title for properties if the zoning requirement says it has to be 2 acres. How is the title company going to address that? Or it's because that could possibly become a legal issue in a
That's just through the granted variance, correct? That's what this board's for, the granted variance. And then it becomes legal at that point, right? Once the VOCC votes on it.
The way I read the agenda item, is that it's asking to be rezoned to 2 acres, or is it asking for it to be a variance?
We're just platting it. So we're not asking for zoning, and we're not asking for a variance. He's just asking to plat it into 2 separate lots. And this is Mr. Thornton, who is the property owner in this case. I think he had maybe some additional information.
I have one more question for you before we get to Mr. Thornton. Didn't we have to approve this earlier
In regards to,
to splitting it, or is this the first time we're seeing this item?
this is the first time.
Okay. Well, hold on. Anybody have any more questions for Eric? Okay. Anybody here to talk in favor of this project? If you would state your name and address, please, sir.
I'm Gary Thornton, 21700 North County Line Road, Edmond. And I own the properties up and down this area that connect to the property on both sides and then continues on. And I have a home over on the county line where my farm is between 206 and 220. It's a 2-story house, big. I'm military disabled, and I'm going to have to build me someplace that I can deal with, live in, and that's what that divide is about, is to get me a place there that I can stay around my properties and my farm and yet be able to use it. So, and as far as the questions that you had, Ms. Hendricks, my daughter is general manager for American Abstract, and she seems to think this is all right.
Hold on a second, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry.
When it comes to ownership, putting out there that this height, this lot, and these are right of way, you are setting the precedent for planning. And I know that they take that on always be set up to do, but deviating from how it was treated our right of way for decades is my only cautionary tale. You have the ability to do this. There's no doubt. This is a policy consideration. I'm just saying I do have some questions about this and how it would work, because like I said, it's in an area and stuff, the way it says it's no less than 2 acres in size, so we are less than 2 acres in size of the state home. So maybe it just needs to be modified, but it says no less than 0.5. I don't like how this particular agenda item is, or the applicant proposes each property to be no less than 2 acres in size. That's only if you include the county. I think you could probably do what you want to do, but you maybe the word and just be better. Because I don't like including things that the acres of what they property on its own, or giving the impression that we don't give you that right of way out of our production.
Does anybody have any questions for Mr.
Yeah.
Flynn?
Do you own the properties on both sides?
Yes.
You do?
And this property here really has no use. It's connected to the house that you have listed as lot 1. But that's just a residence with 2 acres, and this lot is not being used. I maintain it. I take my tractor over there and mow it. I gotta sit down, guys.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
So the way I understand it is if this goes to Board of Adjustment, they can make a variance to the 1.61 and the 613. Then what's the step there?
So if you go to the Board of Adjustment, what you're asking there is, it becomes more of a zoning question in regards to placing a home on a piece of property that is zoned R2, but
Under
is
2
smaller
acres.
than 2 acres.
Correct.
So then they would have to go through, obviously that public meeting, that board would make a decision on granting his request or not.
Okay.
So,
Why did we go this route? Just out of curiosity.
well, that was the whole discussion is, if you include the right of way, he meets the 2 acres for each lot. So we decided to just continue forward in this direction to see what the board's pleasure was as far as handling this. Because again, we can't think of any other case that was similar to this to where we could sit there and say, well, this was the decision in this case. We're going to continue in that direction.
At least a statutory authority would over supersede us anyways. Especially when it comes to section line road.
I didn't do any research on this particular issue right before this. Like, I do understand what they're saying. It's the middle of the road, the property owner's property goes to the
Yeah.
road.
Everybody's does.
I understand all of that. Just the concern I have is on why this kind of doing this and creating a new precedent and how we're gonna treat it. I mean, if you want me to look into, I'm getting ready to kind of.
I mean,
look into it right now.
My big question is, what does the deed say? How much land is there? I mean, I bet the deed. So if we did 2 and 2, it's probably going to be 4 acres on a deed, right? And if that's the official deed of which abstractors use, what is the issue?
I mean, I can read the legal description now, and not that that's going to mean anything to anybody, but if you think that would help, I can read the legal description of what's there. The surveyor, if you want to look at what was surveyed, I have a copy of that survey, which is basically going to meet the same thing that the deed is going to say. So I'll be more than happy to.
Which is what? Are there 4 acres or not? With 2 lots there.
So the way that the deed states is just the legal description itself, period.
Doesn't say that.
So if I'm looking at the legal description itself, it basically states that each one of these is 2 acres.
Okay.
So, but again, it just
I mean,
depends
I'm
on
close
how
with
you.
math, but 2 plus 2 is 4.
Right,
That's what I checked.
right, but it also depends on how you write the legal description.
Yeah.
That was the discussion that we had when we were reviewing this item to begin with.
So all the details here is the footage. Is that correct?
Right, it just
How far to
gives-
go,
it just gives
which
you-
direction?
That's right. That's right. So it doesn't say on the deed, this legal description consists of 2 acres more or less. It doesn't state that. But the description itself consists of 2 acres.
The way to look at it is, you would claim those 2 acres that belong to the property owner, and the statute talk about the property owner being it's gonna run the right of way, and this is basically almost a perpetual easement, which is they are the property owner. I think
And it is until we chose or would choose to either one, expand or two, abandon. So
Right.
I think you're safe here. I mean, I'm not the lawyer,
No,
but
and like I said, my biggest thing is that it's a deviation from what we have historically done.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to play chess, not checkers, and see what
yeah, so
is possible.
I think typically the
negative impact
things
that
like this
we're
go
not
to BOA. Typically things like this would go to BOA, Board of Adjustment. And they would just be granted off of the 1.61 and the 1.613.
That's why
Typically.
I was kind of talking about the variance because that
Yeah, me
really-
too.
because
Because there's too many meetings that I go to. Yeah.
the reason why it seems to me that but I do think it says it's 2 acres, which is like that's a right of way.
Mhm.
That resolves my current
Yeah.
concern. My concern is that we were adding on our right, encompassing it now into the already.
It's already part of it. Yeah. So we're not changing their property description any at all. All we're doing is changing the way that we look.
1.6 is on this lot 1, lot 2.
Well, not by.
With these.
Yeah. Well.
So the verbiage.
I mean, my property that I own is on 2 section lines right on the corner. I got 660 both ways. Now my deed says that I have 10 acres, which includes that right of way, which is 1,320 feet of frontage on 2 section line roads. So I can see his situation here. That's my whole 10 acres out in the middle of the road. I have to give the easement up. And so he's got these 4 acres that 50 foot across it is part of the road and others utilities, but so.
May I ask, am I paying taxes all the way to the center of the road on 2 acres?
Yes, you are.
So, and I have that all up and down that road for the residences I own. So I don't know how that works. So you all got a tough job.
I mean, to a certain degree, though, back to what you're saying, the problem that comes into this, in the writing, it says no less than 2 acres in size. And then the description, or this diagram you're giving me says 1.6.
Right, but that's the land itself. But if you look at the description, the lot itself is 2 acres if you include the right of way.
Okay.
So it depends on how you read it. If you look at the legal description as it was given to us, the 2 acres is the property and the right of way. So we're not trying to deceive anybody in the description, but as our understanding when we got the item, it was 2 acres.
And as long as
I mean,
she feels comfortable that nobody's ever going to come back to us and say it said 2 acres and now it's 1.6, that's what I struggle with. I'm not saying we're doing anything wrong. I'm just saying it is written.
And
Well-
he does own to the center.
He does.
So he owns that 2 acres.
Yeah, we're not
He
just.
has to give the right of way to it.
This and I see 1.6.
Right.
Except for that you could attach it to the property.
Yeah.
Yep.
The discrepancy was giving me pause because like I said,
Yep.
everything that we do for today, that's what obviously title companies and builders and everybody are going to rely upon. And whenever you have a discrepancy, as you all know, if you have 1.6 acres and you have a zoning ordinance that says you have to have at least 2 acres to build, we've all been there where that has created issues and title issues and money down the road that if we can address that up front here by wording might be the best way to.
just to throw out an idea, if there's heartburn of moving forward today, not to put off Mr. Thornton, but you can always defer the meeting, this item to, or these 2 items to the August meeting to review the question at hand.
But so we couldn't just approve this adjusting and saying that it's 1.6 acres by drawing and 2 acres.
I'm just saying, 1.6 acres for the lot, 2 acres inclusive of the right of way.
That's what I would do, and this way it's in the, this way.
I'm just saying, the way that they split, the way that the items are written in first, the diagram, I don't want there to be any discrepancy. I'm fine, I do,
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
it's statutory, they own the property to the intersection of the right of way that is, you know, in Title 69 on the road, county road, highway system, that, he owns that property. It's just not usable or buildable.
That's correct.
It's in the right of way.
It's in reserve for the
It's
county
reserved for
highway
the
system.
right of way.
Yeah.
But it does meet the requirements of ownership of each lot.
That's correct.
And then now we don't have to defer it, and we just move on. So while we are going to continue to see if anybody else wants to talk about that, can you think about what we should actually reword that? Okay. Any other questions for the gentleman? Is there anybody else here who would like to talk in favor of this project? I'm going slow. Is there anybody here who would like to talk against this project? Okay, hearing and seeing none. I will entertain a motion to approve / deny item number 9, adjusted by,
I think that what I would suggest is the applicant proposes to build a single family residential subdivision with 2 lots and approximately 4 acres each. Those lots would be no less than 2 acres in size, inclusive of the county right of way. That second review, I would add that. And with that amendment,
did you get that?
If you could vote to accept the amendment, and then you can vote on the. You don't want to do that?
No, it's not an amendment.
On amending the application.
Okay.
That's amending the application. Right?
Okay, I understand.
Okay. With that said, I'll entertain a motion to accept the amendment.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Murray, Mr. Jewell, Mr. Talbot,
Yes.
Ms. Patterson, Mr. Davidson,
Yes.
Commissioner Davidson.
Okay, I will. Right. Mm-hmm. I will entertain a motion to approve item number 9 as amended. Roll call, Eric.
Mr. Murray, Mr. Jewell, Mr. Talbot,
Yes.
Ms. Patterson, Mr. Davidson,
Yes.
Commissioner Davidson.
Yes. With all that said, item number 10 is worded correctly then? We're fine with that?
It's the same verbiage.
Mhm. So then we'll make a motion to approve the amendment to item number 10 to be identical to item number 9. Roll call?
Mr. Murray, Mr. Jewell, Mr. Talbot,
Yes.
Ms. Patterson, Mr. Davidson,
Yes.
Commissioner Davidson.
Yes. Now, I'll entertain a motion to approve it / deny item number 10 with the amended.
I'll second.
Roll call, Eric?
Mr. Murray, Mr. Jewell,
Yes.
Mr. Talbot,
Yes.
Ms. Patterson, Mr. Davidson.
Yes.
Commissioner Davidson.
Yes. Okay, items 9 and 10 approved. Item number 11, discussion and possible action to approve / deny the replat of Patnode Hill RE 2025-02. Eric?
Yes, this was a plat that was originally heard by the planning commission, if I remember correctly, towards the end of last year. So the plat was originally everything that you see there in the picture. And so what they're doing is the highlighted area in the southwest corner there, they are splitting that lot 4 into 2 lots. The lot on the west side will be 5 acres, and the lot that is towards the east will be 2.13 acres. This particular subdivision is located on Dobbs and Wilshire, out in the east part of the county. Pretty straightforward. Like I said, they're just modifying the original plat. So since it was a plat originally, they have to replat to do what they're wanting to do in this case, to split that lot.
County has no issue.
No.
Any questions for Eric? Okay. Hearing none, is there anyone here who'd like to talk in favor of this project?
The surveyor is here. I don't think he has anything additional to add.
Okay. Hearing and seeing nobody else? Is there anybody here who'd like to talk against this project? Hearing and seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve/deny item number 11. Second. Roll call, Eric?
Mr. Murray, Mr. Jewell, Mr. Talbot,
Yes.
Ms. Patterson, Mr. Davidson,
Yes.
and Commissioner Davidson.
Item number 12, discussion and possible action to approve/deny the preliminary plat of Avondale Estates PP 2025-03. Eric?
Yes, the preliminary plat is the engineering that goes into this particular development. This is located at Northwest 206th and MacArthur at the northeast corner of that intersection. If you look at the map that you have there in front of you, the corner itself is zone commercial. Everything behind it is the residential that we're discussing. The corner that is on the southeast part of the property there, the reason that it's been left out is because that is a cemetery. So that is the plat there in front of you. Basically, all the drainage calculations, the paving plans were submitted to us for review. All those look good. There were some minor changes that we're still working with the engineer on. Nothing significant. So everything as far as our requirements have been met as far as moving forward with the construction of the subdivision itself. Just to kind of keep you guys up to date on what we do with these particular subdivisions once it's approved. Then we start the process of getting with the engineer and the developer to start the clearing. We go out, we do inspections. There is a inspection cost that is paid to us based on the total cost to develop the subdivision, which would be building the roads, doing all the drainage improvements. So whatever that cost is, they will provide us a fee. We go out to do inspections throughout the development. So that includes erosion control. Each time that we go out there, that includes once the drainage is installed, we go out there and look at it. And then District 3 crews in this particular case go out there quite frequently when it comes to the construction of the road himself to make sure that the subgrade is built to county standards and then the roads themselves are built to county standard. So that way, if I recall correctly, this is going to be a private road development. And so we treat private roads the same as we do public roads. That way the folks that end up moving in here have the same advantages as a road that the county maintains, since they'll be responsible for the maintenance of the roads and the drainage moving forward. So I know that's kind of a long-winded answer, but I just kind of want to give everybody an update of what we do when it comes to actual construction. That's all I had, unless you had any particular questions of me.
Questions for Eric? Anyone here like to talk in favor of this project? Name and address, please.
Hello, Jessica Bloy with Johnson & Associates representing the applicant 1 East Sheridan Avenue. I agree with everything Eric stated, and I'm happy to answer any additional questions.
I always lose track, but I remember when we first talked about this, have you guys put in, and this may not be the time, but I figured I'll ask anyway. The entrances are kind of like in the school zone. we had talked about the possibility you guys might want to put up signs saying that from 2 or 7 to 4, whatever, that they know when they're entering, they're going into a school zone.
I do not have that answer at this time, but I do recall the discussion.
Okay.
So I'm happy to provide that at a later time unless Eric.
That's fine. Eric has a comment.
No, we've had the discussion in regards to this particular development with the developer as far as crosswalks, locations in which the kids that live in this particular neighborhood getting over to the school. There are signs that are out there as far as the school zone already. If I'm not mistaken, the school zone in this particular case starts beyond the subdivision to the east and beyond the subdivision to the north and south. So all of that signage is there. The only thing that would be added in this particular case on that west entrance along MacArthur, there was a long discussion about putting a crosswalk just north of that entrance there so kids could get access to that, to the other side there to the school.
And likely that'll be done regardless of whether the developer does it or not. I just completed something very similar for Oklahoma City Public Schools. And it consists of rumble strips and more painting and flashing lights. And when there's a lot of kids crossing streets, that is the county street. So
Yeah,
we should take care of the kids.
Yeah, a gentle reminder as they're leaving,
Yes.
because they won't have seen the signs.
Yeah.
So, hey, it's still 25 miles an hour. So that's all. Okay. That was my only question. Any other questions?
Well, you had said about the roads, they're gonna be designed for private roads that built to county standards. Now, will that state the fact that they, with or without curbs? Gutters, or was
So
it-
if I remember in this particular case, these are going to be bar ditches that are in front of these. So it's just basically the road itself with a bar ditch on each side. So there's no curb and gutter, which that's not. That was discussed when we did the PUD. Was this a PUD?
No, this isn't a PUD.
Okay, this is R1. Okay.
Yeah.
So that was a discussion that was had at that time. They can go either direction. It's really up to the developer. Really, when you get into curb and gutter discussion is when you get into significantly smaller lots. So in this case, they're just doing bar ditches, which is fine.
Any other questions?
Just to kind of, nothing to do with this particular development. Well, it's kind of a
Tell her
common.
she can sit down. She doesn't stand there the whole time either.
There was a discussion because there's another development that is just north and east of this one that's going to be coming up here within the next, part of it's going to be coming up at the next planning commission, but the development itself goes all the way that whole mile. So we had a discussion trying to get sidewalks in this subdivision and the subdivision north of it to where the kids could walk all the way to the school. Unfortunately, just because this is a private subdivision, they're going to have walls, gates, and all that. So unfortunately, we weren't able to accomplish that in this case. So I just wanted to provide more information. The development that you will see in August, it is going to be further east than this one, but just to kind of give you a more complete picture.
I just wanted to give you a clarification on the streets. They will be curb and guttered.
with sidewalks?
That has really nothing to do
No,
with
it
this
doesn't,
here,
but it's-
so, but, yeah. Is there anybody else who wants to talk in favor of this project? Hearing and seeing none, is there anyone here who wants to talk against this project? Hearing and seeing none, then I'll entertain a motion.
Mushu too. Mushu Gupu. There will be sidewalks.
There will be sidewalks. Okay. A motion to approve / deny item number 12.
Second.
Roll call, Eric?
Mr. Murray, Mr. Jewell, Mr. Talbot,
Yes.
Ms. Patterson, Mr. Davidson,
Yes.
and Commissioner Davidson.
Yes. All right, item number 13, discussion and possible action to receive the June 2025 fee fund and expense report. How do we end, Derek?
We were up, let's see here, 3,000?
So $3,000.
So the board. is
3,100 and some dollars in the black.
All right. So the board is now stuck for another year being on it, huh?
Well, you would be no matter what, so that's neither here nor there.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to receive the fee fund report.
Second.
Roll call, Eric?
Mr. Murray, Mr. Jewell, Mr. Talbot,
Yes.
Ms. Patterson, Mr. Davidson,
Yes.
and Commissioner Davidson.
Yes. Okay, item number 14, new business. In accordance with the Open Meetings Act, Section 311.9, new business is defined as any matter not known about or which could not have reasonably been foreseen at the time of the posting of this agenda. Any new business, Eric?
No, sir.
And then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Roll call, Eric?
Mr. Murray, Mr. Jewell, Mr. Talbot,
Yes.
Ms. Patterson, Mr. Davidson,
Yes.
and Commissioner Davidson.